police did. All the other ones did, the family members or anybody. They were all documented, except mine. In my file, it was, even my brother Martin said, yours are empty. And so my daughter Maria said to me, I'm going to be a grandpa.
Yay, congratulations.
After I heard that, I thought, you know, that child that my daughter's going to have, it's a gift from God. Every precious. And she's so happy. So I tell all mothers and fathers, appreciate the gift God's given you, your children, and each other. So anyway, I want to thank you, Jenny, for this wonderful opportunity to share this to the whole world.
So about your adoption, just wanted to ask a couple of questions. So your father who adopted you, do you think, and your brother Norton, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
And you guys were both at the same orphanage.
Yes.
Yeah. How did he pick that orphanage? Is it because it was more well known because the Pope had visited it, or how did he end up choosing that orphanage to adopt?
Now I'm going to go deeper since you asked me that question, and it's all coming. The Lord never picks a professional speaker like me, but that's how it is. Well, my dad. I asked my mom after Dad passed away. I said, "Mom, how did you find out about us?" And it was at Our Lady of Grace Monastery in Guilford, Connecticut. My dad would visit that monastery, and she knew the nuns over there. And every couple of months, my dad would visit the monastery. So one day, the sisters at that monastery asked and said, "Hey, the Pope has visited that orphanage a while ago, and I thought, John, how would you like to adopt some boys from over there?" And so my dad, they showed all the pictures of all the boys in the orphanage. And so my mom told me this and said, I would love to take them all, but I could only take 2. And so my dad took a pencil, he closed his eyes, and he said, wherever that pencil landed, that's the boy I want. So my mom got a chance to pick one. He picked Martin, and my dad picked me. And so that's how we got picked, by a pencil point. And so it was Sister Bertrand. Padre Pio actually talked about Sister Bertrand. She was from that Our Lady of Grace Monastery. What my dad told me, she was a very holy nun. And anyway, I had a talk with her, and at one time, my brother told me that somebody went to see Padre Pio in 1969 during that time, or maybe earlier, and one of the American guys said to Padre Pio, "I came all the way from United States to see you." He said, "You didn't have to see me. You could have seen Sister Bertrand," and they never met. That's what I was told. So. Wow. Isn't that amazing? That's the monastery where I was discovered. And then another thing that was interesting too, when my dad passed away, my mom had a document of how we were adopted. And my brother Martin, who was not my real brother, but we became brothers, his grandmother put him there. Mm. Yeah. For me, there was no document at all. So the Missionary of Charity sisters said this to me. They said, "Pat, Mother Teresa never kept any document." And she was the only one in India that didn't do that. The police did. All the other ones did, the family members or anybody. They were all documented, except mine. In my file, it was, even my brother Martin said, yours are empty. They don't know who put you there. So then they knew that this Missionary Charity sisters told me it was Mother Teresa, the one that was not documented at that time. Now they do, but not now. Mother Teresa was not very well known, and so that's how we were documented, and so that's how I came to the United States.
Thank you. And then also, I know that you have a great relationship with the Poor Clares in the St. Cloud area. How did you get to know them?
Oh yes, the Poor Clares. When I first came to Minnesota, you got to remember now, when you go to a newer area, it's like starting all over again.
Right.
And so I came, and the only people I knew was my wife, and later on my kids came. But I was at St. Wendell Bazaar in Holdingford, Minnesota. They at St. Wendell Church, and they had a bazaar. My first bazaar I've ever been, really. And so I'm going there, and I heard a lady talking about the weather, and saying, "Look how nice it is, but look, all around it's raining." And they said, "Yeah, we called the Poor Clares Sisters." And I said, "Oh," and I asked the lady, "Who are they?" "Oh, they're in Sauk Rapids." So I told my wife, I said, "I'd like to get to know the sisters," because my dad always knew the sisters in Connecticut, Right. And I've always visited with my dad, and they made this homemade fudge. And so I always went there for the fudge, and my family back home would say, "Hey, Pat, bring some for us." Not everybody went with my dad. So I said, "Okay." By the time we got back home, the fudge was all gone. We ate it. But anyway, so I called them the first time. I said, "Hi, yeah," and they were so nice and so gentle. And they said, "What can we do for you?" And I said, "I'm new in this town," and I said, "My name is Patrick," and I didn't tell them much about my background. And I just called them every evening, to be honest, because I had nobody else that I knew. So the sisters were so available for me. They always, we didn't talk long. It was just like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever they can give me. And at the same time, they were grooving me to learn more of my Catholic faith. The confession came along, and adoration, and all this the beauty of our Catholic faith came. They were sharing this with me, and I was embracing a little at a time, while the sisters were just throwing it at me, and always saying, "The Lord is with you, Pat. You're doing great, and you're doing wonderful." And so as time went on, I've known them for, wow, it's a long time, for over 30 years. And they're my family today. And I told Sister, you'll always will be my family. And I said, "You know how many people adopted me?"
Indeed, I do.
Yeah, I said, "I've been adopted so many times." Mother Teresa adopted me, in a way, took care of me. And so the Poor Clares in Sauk Rapids, Minnesota inspired me. And I remember one time they came up to me, they said, "Pat, could you pray that they'll get more vocation?" And I said, "You know what? If any one of you listening out there, any young women that love the Lord so much, and the Lord is calling you, I would consider the Poor Clares. I've been in their monastery. I painted their monastery, and they sing like angels. Beautiful. Wow." I remember I have a painting contract, and they asked me to paint in there, and they were singing. And I said, "Sister, I didn't have to turn the radio for music." You guys were singing beautiful. Did it bother you? No, actually, I did a better job when you guys were singing. So anyway, if there's any young people that would like to join them, give them a call. Or I know another monastery too, the Benedictine monastery. They're very, I got to know the sisters. I worked for them. I did painting for 4 years. And they are also wonderful. So the Benedictine monastery was near to me. Sometimes I would go to their monastery. Remember, the Poor Clare is a cloister, so I can't really do what I'm doing at the Benedictine monastery, where I would go to the grotto, and there was a beautiful statue of Our Lady, and I love Our Lady. And I never told anyone this, but I'm telling you, everyone for the first time. I would go to Our Lady, well, besides some of the video they have interviewed me with. And every year on Mother's Day, I would go to the statue of Our Lady of St. Benedict Monastery in St. Joseph, Minnesota. And I would put the rose of Our Lady, and I would say, "You're the best ma in the whole world. I love you, Mother." And I would put the rose. I wouldn't tell anyone. Every year I would put that in there. And I still do that today. The Pope was right. Pope Paul VI was right. He said, "Our Lady will always be with you no matter where you go." And I know He's going to be with all of you out there. If you ask her to be, she will. Even if you don't, she's still your mother. Jesus gave Mary to us. So anyway, so that's how my story is. I can go on, how it is.
Yes, well, I think that's a wonderful place to stop and just reflect on how much Our Lady loves us and how much she loves each one of us. And she's calling us to something special. And she's clearly called you to something special, though. So thank you for sharing that.
That's right, yeah.
And thank you guys, and keep asking our Lord, keep asking our Blessed Mother, what are you being called to, and how is God asking you to serve? And if you follow it, you'll find joy. Thanks for watching.